One Way Fighting.
Hello, you're through to One Way Fighting Podcast. This is me, Neil Smith, and Miles Muncie. Today, we're doing one of a two-part video. We're going to do Ben Askren v Jake Paul. This is Miles' love interest, Jake Paul, so he's desperate to do this one. And to be honest with you, I've got interested in it because all he's done is peck me head about it. So
you've been watching all the videos, everything now, haven't you? They're funny though. He's a funny guy. Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah,
we'll get into it.
So if you like the video anyway, like and subscribe at the bottom, hit the notification bell.
Yes.
And go on. I'll start, I think, because you started the last one.
Start. Yeah.
So go on. So we'll do the breakdown on this one, and then we'll see if it's good for the world of boxing on the next one. So in terms of breaking it down, so you got Ben Askren. So he silver Olympic medalist wrestler in 2000, wasn't it? He's predominantly wrestler, NCAA champ. He's Bellator and ONE FC champion. So he's got real good fight pedigree. But
100%.
he's got, is it 21 or 22 fight? He's 19-2, isn't he? MMA. And he's got 6 TKOs, the predominantly ground and pound. So he's stand
all
up.
All
of them ground and pounds. His stand up. You saw the best sort of stand up from him in the Damian Maia fight. Really, that was the most we saw of him standing up. There's a couple of other fights where he shows flashes of it. His style. We'll start with that. So
we'll start with Ben, right? Okay, let's start with Ben. I think that's the best way to start. You want to go first? Yeah, we start his style. You mentioned it. His style.
So you see, for me, it's a positive. His style. So he's got that sort of, when he was stand up with Damian Maia, he showed that post retreat sort of. He was covering his jaw predominantly. There were moments where he didn't, and he had that sort of hand out there covering the guard, which you could argue could lead to some sort of sort of openings for Jake Paul with his lunging style. But at the same time, it's like post and retreat. He's got that out there. If he sees danger, it's a step back and he resets. And for me, that is going to be what he's probably going to do when Jake Paul starts, trying to work it himself. He predominantly is a wrestler, though, so he usually tracks people down and puts them against the cage wall, really, doesn't he? That's what he does. Yeah. And I feel in that style, what's going to transfer over to boxing for me is when you're a wrestler, a massive amount of feints going to the head, so people raise their arms so you can shoot for underhooks and shoot for the leg without them, because you want them to go high, so they're not sprawling. Basically,
but this is not it's not wrestling anymore. I mean, I like where you're going at. I get where you're going at. I can see where you're trying to get at.
Yeah, but a good boxer, Miles, it's all about feints and having the arm out. It's
true, but we haven't seen that from the videos, and we haven't seen his whole MMA career has been. I 100% agree. He's going for the takedown, 100%. But his boxing ability, he's not going to. He never was a boxer, and he used it in a way to disguise how. And this is going to sound really harsh on him, but how shit his boxing is, and in the sense of he's got no power. He's got, from my opinion, he's got no power. In the videos you see it, he's hitting there, and which is nice. I get what he's trying to get, and he's got the brains, and that's the thing where people are. Well, I feel maybe he could win, and the could is a big thing. We'll go into. This pocket, like you see the video that he shared, where he's throwing some like wild shots. So I mean to say wild, just literally just smacking the glove, and then he'll go for the uppercut. The uppercut is nice. I feel that's going to be a big attack that he's going to try and do. He's going to try and overwhelm Jake Paul. So he's going to go in, double guard Jake Paul, and go for the uppercut, and then go to take the side. But we've seen in Ben Askren's career, has he got the power to finish him? And I don't know. I mean, I think the way this goes for Ben, and we spoke about it yesterday, and is overwhelming him. But has he got the power to really overwhelm him? I mean, yes, he's got the tactical awareness. He's been in the fight game, but has he really got the power? Has he got? Obviously, he's had his hip problem. Is that going to be a huge part? I think it is. I think that's going to be a huge part for Ben. Where you see in his videos, he doesn't rotate. He's very there, just that, and I think that's going to be a big thing. I mean, I would like you to comment. You've seen the videos, I'm guessing. I mean, yesterday you said an interesting thing. You think he's doing it tactically, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, there's 2 videos I've watched, and he's been in the game for so long. He's a veteran. It's bullshit if you think that he doesn't recognise that they're not good videos to pull out. He's putting them out because this is Jake Paul's Rocky moment, isn't it? He's finally got a fighter of some sort of pedigree. He's like the other 2 he fought, that Gibb and Robinson. He's chose Ben Askren because he's got about a 3-inch height and reach advantage on him, and he's got weight on him in terms of the power, which you're talking about. Going back to the power,
yeah,
I think that's bullshit. I mean, TKO not knocked him out, but I'd argue he's ground and pounding people. You know yourself because you've trained. If I'm standing up as a boxer, I've got a boxing stance and I'm turning my hip in for every punch. If you're TKOing people on the floor in a position where you can't turn your hip, you're just using your arm, he's still managing to TKO people where he's took half his engine off his punches. And you don't see it in his fights, but his game plan for every single fight has been to wrestle. He's never gone in with the intention of standing up. Maybe with Damian Maia, we saw it more because Damian Maia won that fight on the ground. He was a ground specialist, and maybe it was like, well, maybe I've got a chance here with him standing up, and he was doing well against him. But when you said he's got no stand-up ability, again, I call bullshit on that. He's got head movement. You see him roll. You see him slip. He changes from orthodox to southpaw on regular occasion. Whether that's more to do for the wrestling, he's trying to catch people off guard. I think the only problem with that I discussed with you, when you're changing that guard, he leaves himself square. So it's something he'd have to work on if he was planning on switching stance during the fight. So if he leaves himself square, that's a dream for Jake Paul, because he just has to change levels, come in with the straight right of the body, or hit him with a liver shot or something, because he's going to be left open. The way he changes stance, he's very square when he does it because he's got that wrestling style. But to say he's not good at stand-up is not true. He's not the top stand-up. The reason Jake Paul's chosen is because he's probably one of the highest level athletes with the lowest level striking. But he's
I agree.
Yeah.
The thing I would add is, so you, a good point that you made was that in the Maia fight, and I would argue, I mean, from that all I can go for is what I see, right? Like with the Maia fight, with his videos that he's put out. Do you see a big difference from that Maia fight to actually the videos that he's put out? Because I don't see much a difference. If not, I'd actually see that he's better on the videos than he did in the Maia fight. I mean, I saw a lot of sloppy punches. I know I 100% understand that and you're saying it, and a lot of MMA people will say he's going for the takedown. But you know, you look at other wrestlers, and I'll try not to avert to the people I'm using as reference. So with Usman and Woodley, and you see they're pure wrestlers, and look at their striking ability. Ben always comes in all here, wild shots. I know he's trying to go for the takedown, but even in the Maia fight, he tried to get in the pocket a little bit, and it was sloppy. And I think last point on Ben,
I think it was.
You know,
I think it was unorthodox. I mean, if you see his head movements and stuff, it wasn't the most graceful, but it did the job every time. And you've got someone in a wrestler who changes levels constantly. They break everything down into single subroutines. Whether he's gone in with the intention of wrestling for every single fight, he's going to have done for every single fight in his career a certain amount of stand-up training in each camp. I don't think those videos that they put out are representative of the true training he's doing. He's not daft enough. And the fact of the matter is, if he loses, MMA takes a massive blow to this kid off the streets for two, not calling them no ones, but, you know.
I get at the end of the day, Jake is a YouTube boxer. I mean, he's a YouTuber. People hate him. I mean, I don't like him. I love watching him. I wouldn't say I like his content. No, hate is a strong. But a lot of people would use that. I mean, so a lot of people, what he's done, a lot of things that he's done are, are bad. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can see. I know, he's a young lad and fair play, but there is a lot of things that he's done bad. Some people, a lot of people. Okay, let's use a better word. A lot of people really dislike this guy, and that he knows that, and he plays on that. And now let's jump up to Jake Paul. I think that's.
What you're saying about people hate him. When you say people hate him, I remember my mate saying to me when Justin Bieber was out and everybody hated him, and he said to me, "I like him, and you know why? Because if I was that age and I had all them girls after me and I had all that money, I'd be banging bears, I'd be punching photographers, I'd be doing this." And it's the same for Jake Paul. I don't dislike him. If he's got that much popularity, it's going to go to his head.
Yeah. I don't dislike him. Like, I don't know him. I mean, for what his content, I don't like his content. I watch it, and how can I explain it? I like his shit talk. That's funny. Like the shit. I mean, some of it has gone a bit far, but obviously, part of me does want him to win because I want YouTube boxing to carry on, and we'll go on to that in the other video. So like and subscribe and watch the other one. That will be up, but to his fighting start, I think
back to the start.
Yeah, back to start to this fight. I think Jake has to go in with full confidence. I mean, he has full confidence. I think he has to go in using his jab, get on the outside, and use that power. I mean, you don't want. I think for Jake, don't get into that habit. Well, not in the habit. Don't get into Ben Askren's game. And Ben Askren's game is to try and rough him up. And we can see that from the videos, and we can see that from what he's been saying. And I think Jake needs to go in, feints, go for the jab, and do what his coach says at the end. I know that's a very simplistic thing, but he has amazing team around him, and I know Ben think he has as well. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if this goes 8 rounds. I won't be surprised if this goes the whole 8 rounds. I think it's 8 rounds, not 10. I think it's 8. It is 8 rounds. Yeah, it is 8 rounds. So yeah. The long
and short of it is, mate, Ben Askren's going to go in. He's going to use his footwork. He'll see how it goes, trying to pressure him as he always does. His footwork isn't as amazing for boxing.
I don't know, mate. I don't see footwork. I see he's panting on his feet. I mean, on the video, like. I think a lot.
Look, let me finish what I was saying before you cut me off. It's not exactly what I'm saying. His footwork's not amazing, but it is for the wrestler. But stand-up wise, I'd like to see him, sort of circling out and that when he gets in tasty situations with Jake Paul. But what you're forgetting is, right, so you're saying this about power and stuff like that. Jake Paul's still got to land on him. Yeah?
Yeah.
So Jake Paul coming in that Gibb fight, he was changing levels, using his jab, and he looked composed. I'll give him that. Yeah. But he was fighting a kid who, again, him, Robertson, and Askren, he's always chose someone smaller than him.
100% agree. Yeah.
With less reach. And none of them looked like they were on the level. I'm not saying anything bad about them, But Gibb didn't look like he had any answers for anything that Jake Paul came in. And he really moved forward, jabbed, changed levels a few times. And then he jumped from trying to set stuff up to straight right, hook from the right, hook from the backhand because he fights orthodox. He wasn't a boxing fight in the sense that he had to set something up, bang. He didn't have to live with a 3-6-3-2 or nothing like that. He wasn't in any pressure, any way, shape or form. Now he's going to go in and fight someone who can move, who does have head movements, who does have a chin. We've seen that in the Robbie Lawler fight, and I'm fucked if anyone's telling me that he can punch harder than Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler destroyed him. How Ben Askren went through that, you know. And then you've got the fact that he might still have this height and reach advantage on Ben Askren, but he's still going to be pressured. And Ben Askren's going to work, if he's sensible, his body, because this kid is more powerful. But I'm telling you now, and you know this as well as I do, he has got to feed all of that muscle that he's gained. A lot of the stuff I've seen is him doing a lot of weight training. And when he's doing the sparring, I see on these videos his mates running in and tickling him like a little tickle fight and stuff like that. And they're like, fucking Mary Queens. I can see if he goes past 4 rounds, he could be in serious trouble, deep waters. Now, I like the kid. I like what he's doing. But I do feel like, I mean, he's picked the right fight. If he was going to pick anyone in MMA, he's picked the right fight. But I don't think Ben Askren's as big a dickhead as they make out. I think he's going to go in with a game plan. And this kid's going to be a big kid. And he's going to hit a lot of air, which is going to tire him out. And Ben Askren's going to have to go to his body. Because give Jake Paul something, he's got a big old chin on him, whether it works or not. I mean, you keep telling me about his sparring. Knocks everybody out. And I said this to you the other day, Sean Martin, we spoke to him on the podcast. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you're not getting twatted in your gym, you're in the wrong gym. My ego's the only thing that gets trained if I knock everyone out in sparring. I'm not under pressure. I'm not under fire. And you did see him sort of courage under fire against Nate Robinson in the fact that he was being rugby tackled, American footy tackled. And he had the fight IQ to, look, this kid just keeps clinching and running into me. At one point, he even threw him to the floor and ragdolled him, which big up him for that. But he had the IQ to take a step back and hit him with the overhand, and that's what finished him. But
the thing I would
going to do it a lot more technically than just running straight on at him. I just hope he uses a bit more lateral movement.
I just can't take the pick. I think a lot of MMA guys are ignoring the fact that Jake. I mean, I want Ben Askren to win. Like I since he joined the UFC, I started to probably one of my favorite fighters. Just his personality, like Everett, like he is a funny guy. What he's putting in the videos of his misses and all that, it was brilliant, mate. It's funny. One thing to add, what we'll talk about yesterday's video, that we doing now, is we talked about the sparring, right? And I get what you're getting at, right? Yes, you need to be tested, but at the same time, he's not going to show those. And he's got BJ Florence. It is BJ Florence, right? The one that fought Mayweather. Yeah, I think I've got it right. If I haven't, then
he had Shane Mosley in his corner, Sugar Shane.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got BJ now. And I don't know if Mosley's there. And these guys are not. These are not jokes. Yeah, I mean, these guys are pros. They've been there. They've been with Mayweather. They know what they're doing. They know how to coach. Well, I think he knows how to coach. I mean, I don't know how long he's been coaching for, but he's got the experience. He knows well enough that he can't just give them bums, right? I mean, he's been sparring world champions. What I've heard, what I've seen from interviews, from chats, he's taking this serious, and he's been taking this YouTube. Yes, he hasn't fought the right guys, but sometimes you do need those little fights. You see,
he's done the right thing in taking fights to build himself up. But there's a difference between going from what was Nate Robinson, like an NBA player or some shit like that.
Yeah, no sparring apparently before the fight, and that I
to go from that to fight a two-time champion, an Olympic silver medalist who's got 20 years combat fighting.
Yeah, I get you 100%. So the prediction
that,
time.
That Nate Robinson is around about here, and Ben Askren's here. Yeah. I'm not saying he's the best fighter. I won't pretend he's, you know, up there, but compared to Nate Robinson, he's here. And although he's picked the right fight, I'd have picked a low-level pro boxer if I was that good, who's maybe had a couple of fights, 2 or 3, and started there. If you want to be a boxer, fight boxers.
Yeah, I think this is a step, right?
By the way, he's chose someone in MMA with no intention of going into the cage afterwards to give him his comeuppance if he wins.
Yeah, I get you. Jake has been on the record to say that that's his game plan. He wants MMA guys all the time. Not all the time, but that's his goal. I think there's a tactical reason, like we're going on about. I mean, he's called out Dylan Dennis, which, you know, maybe we'll have to talk. Definitely have to talk about after this fight. See what happens if he wins. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting fight. I mean, prediction. It leads into this, right? Prediction. So I'd like you to start, and what do you think is going to happen, and then what? Yeah.
I'd like to think common sense prevails, and it'll be. I mean, I go with my head, not my heart on this, and I think Askren will take it the distance. I don't think necessarily he's going to TKO him. I think if it goes to the judges, though, it should be a unanimous decision. But you never know, do you? In America with this type of thing, it's more for show. It's more like WWE. This, by the sounds of it, but yeah, I completely get it. There's your man. I completely get it. I think it'll go to the cards. I think he's going to work his body, unless he completely wears him down and he can just pick shots off and the referee stops it. That's what I think.
I agree. I mean,
I agree with that?
No, I agree that that's one way it could go, but how I feel, how my head's go. My heart goes Ben Askren. My heart wants Ben Askren. Either way, win. Either way, but my heart would say probably unanimous decision. Probably beats him up a bit, shows him up, but doesn't get the knockout. Makes him really tired, but hasn't got the power to knock him out. My head is saying what I think will actually happen. Jake Paul will win by 5th round, 6th round, 2KO. Ref will stop it. I don't think he'll knock him out fully. You have mentioned his chin. He's got a brilliant chin, but it's boxing. If you're not if you're out on your feet, it's going to stop, right? And I see Ben realizing I don't think I don't feel it, he's had this hip injury, and people, I understand he's a fit athlete. He's always been fit,
though, is he?
But when was the last time he fought? Nearly 2 years ago? A year ago?
Yeah, when was the last time Jake Paul had a proper fight?
I agree. But then he has been active. But he's been active, and Ben has been injured. He's only just recovered about a month ago. I think it's going to be a big factor. I don't feel Ben is actually going to go in there and be. I think he'll be fit. I'm not saying that. I just think Ben.
Nail this down. Give me a round, and then we'll wrap this.
Six round TKO. 6th round TKO. That's Jake.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. If it happens, then we'll make a video and you have to apologise, and I'll have to apologise to you.
Don't worry, I've got to do the same. Don't worry. Right. So go on. If you like that, enjoyed it, like and subscribe below, and we'll catch you on the second part where we discuss whether it's actually good for boxing or not.
Yeah, watch it, guys. I don't know which one will come up first, but either one, like, subscribe, share, and do all that jazzy stuff. But yeah, Oos.